Hi, in this video series, we are going to see the basics of AWS. So, it would be useful for both developer and DevOps streams. And I would be touching the level of Cloud Practitioner series. So, after the completion of this video series, you can be able to write the Cloud Practitioner exam. And it will be very basic. It will start from very basic, like who is not from the computer backgrounds can also understand these videos. I will try to touch at that level initially, and slowly we can jump into the AWS concepts. So let us go to the first part, like the basics of IT terminology. So what are the basic IT terms? So let us see that. So whatever the globe that you are seeing here, let us consider it as the internet, and the client is something like the mobile phone or the laptop that you are going to connect to the internet from your home or office. So that is the client. And server is something that is going to provide you some kind of service. So for example, there are so many services that you are using right now. You might not be knowing that one, but you are using, for example, gmail.com. That is an email service provided by Gmail. Basically, it's a Google company. And Facebook, Instagram, there are so many services that you have been using right now. So what happens? So for example, if you want to use Gmail, right, you're going to type www.gmail.com here in your client, and it is going to send a request through the internet. From the internet, it is going to reach the Gmail server, and that Gmail server is going to respond you back with the proper response with your emails. How does that communication is happening? Though there are so many uh, clients are connected to the internet and so many servers are connected to the internet, how that is identifying and how that communication is happening? So this is because uh, the concept, like there is a IP address concepts. Each and every mission has an IP address. Here, the mission means either client or the server. We call them as missions. So, client has an IP address. Similarly, server has an IP address. We can uniquely identify those missions basically. So, when you send a request, it is going to transfer in the form of data packets, whatever you are seeing here right now. Consider them as a data packets. So, compare those data packets with the regular parcel that you are going to send to your friend, right? What it is going to have? It is going to have a to address, and it is going to have a from address, and the parcel or the note that you want to send to your friend, right? So based on the to address, it is going to reach your friend, and he's going to read that, receive that parcel and read the note that you have sent in that parcel, and whatever you have from address, he's going to respond to you based on that from address. So these IP addresses are similar to that only, and these packets are similar to that in the IT world basically. So this will have a sender's IP and a recipient IP and the actual data. So based on that, it is going to identify the missions individually and respond back properly. And we have been speaking a lot about server, right? What is a server and what it is composed of? A server, it is nothing but a computer basically, but it has more capability, like more CPU. More CPU means more processing power basically, more RAM, more storage. So it may not have the monitor, but it will have those capabilities more because it has to handle a lot of requests from the client. So let us see what is like CPU. CPU is the compute power basically, that is the responsible for whatever the processing that is been happening inside the machine or inside the server. So that is the device that is going to perform the task basically. So then what is RAM? What is memory basically? So the CPU, whatever is perform the task, it needs some kind of storage while it is performing the task. So that storage is nothing but RAM. So for example, if you're processing a image, right? uh, Whenever you want to process that image, it has to load to the RAM or runtime memory or runtime storage. Both are same basically. It has to load into that, and then only CPU can process it. So CPU uses this RAM as a runtime storage. Okay, and what is the storage? Storage is nothing but the data, the files, and the images that you generally store in your computer or in your phone, right? So, hard disk. And database, so database is something that stores the data in a structured way. For example, let us consider a attendance log or attendance register basically. So where you are going to have a name column and whether the student is present or not basically in a row wise. So that is a structured thing, right? So similarly, we can structure data in the form of tables in a database basically. And network, so the network consists of lot of things basically: routers, switch, cables, which are connected to each other. So if you take your mobile phone or your computer in your home, which from which you are accessing the internet, right, it should be either connected to a router, and the router which connected to external internet, right? So that's what they're speaking. So all those things might be connected with the cable switches or in the wireless manner with the routers and all. So that is what the network is. So let us see like what is the router and switch basically. A router is a network device that forwards the data packets between the computer networks, and they know where to send your packets on the internet. That is the router. And the switch that takes the packet and sends it to the correct server or the client on the network. So, for example, if you take a company, it has a lot of servers. When you're sending a request to that server, so it has to reach the correct server. So, in order to identify its network, routers will be useful, and in order to correctly identify the server that are connected in the same network, switches will be useful. That's what switch mean and router mean. I think this covers the basics.